Welcome to the Black at Bryn Mawr virtual tour.
My name is Adalia Rodriguez, class of 2024.
My name is Autumn Johnson, class of 2024.
My name is Daniela Jacob, class of 2026.
My name is Jasmine Marshall, class of 2026.
My name is Aisha Bidigan, class of 2027, and we are your 2023 to 2024 Black at Bryn Mawr tour guides.
This tour was designed by former students Emma Kiyoko and Grace Poussey in 2014 to illuminate the experiences of Black students, staff, and faculty at Bryn Mawr.
Originally, the Black at Bryn Mawr tour was a praxis project. In 2014, there was a racist incident on campus where two seniors hung a Confederate flag in the hallway of one of our dorms, Radnor.
These seniors even went on to draw the Mason-Dixon line, and as a result, they were kicked off campus but still graduated with Bryn Mawr degrees.
Grace and Emma felt as if administration had an inadequate response to this racist incident, and therefore felt the urgency to make this praxis project into a full tour for the Bryn Mawr community.
Additionally, in 2020, when COVID struck, one of our former tour guides, Kari Bowman, class of 2021, made the first addition to the Black at Bryn Mawr virtual tour.
As mentioned before, the Black at Bryn Mawr tour aims to inform the greater community about the Black history of Bryn Mawr and how it impacts campus today. This tour is built from records of special collections, as well as conversations from students, staff, alumni, faculty, and more.
The tour's focus further includes the people and spaces that played a role in supporting, opposing, or addressing institutional racism and how we choose to remember them today.
We ask you to reflect on your experiences in relation to the stops and think of how racism and progressiveness aren't necessarily linear. As a viewer, we want you to help continue to build an institutional memory of Bryn Mawr's engagement with racism and exclusiveness. This way, future generations can hold themselves and their community to higher standards of awareness and accountability for racial power dynamics both inside and outside of the classroom. So, let's begin with our first stop, the Enid Cook Center.
The ECC itself gets its name from Enid Apple Cook, who was the first African American to graduate from Bryn Mawr in 1931 with a degree in chemistry and biology. She was a brilliant student, going on to get a PhD in bacteriology from the University of Chicago in 1937. She would eventually go on to run a public health lab in Panama. Of course, this did not go without difficulty. Prior to her attending the college, Paul Howard Douglas, a Quaker activist, fought fiercely for Cook's attendance for more than 5 months, and yet even after she was accepted, she was not allowed to live on campus because she was Black. Thus, Cook first lived with Henry Cadbury, a professor at the college at the time. Later, she would live about a half-mile away at 46 Prospect Avenue and be forced to commute to the college every day, regardless of the weather. Furthermore, Cook was faced with adversity as a student, always getting more work than her peers and being burdened with more responsibilities by the college. After she graduated, the college would go on to use her hardships as a warning sign to prospective Black students, saying that coming to Bryn Mawr would only cause Black students to struggle as Cook did. However, despite these difficulties, Cook still went on to create change in the medical field and is one of the many Black women to have fought through adversity to make a positive impact on the world. The Enid Cook Center is one of Bryn Mawr's affinity dorms and was established in 2015 after Perry House was demolished. This dorm also serves as a cultural center to the community, hosting Sisterhood, our Black affinity group, Mujeres, the Latin affinity group, Picasso, our Caribbean and African affinity group, and Zombie Plus, our BIPOC queer affinity group. After Perry House was put offline in 2012, a coalition of students, faculty, and staff came together to figure out how to memorialize the building and find an alternative place for affinity housing. This led to the foundation of the ECC, where the dorm serves the purpose of hosting students that identify with the inclusive values of the dorm. Today, the ECC also includes a library, where the floorboards in the books from Perry House have been preserved in order to remember its legacy.
Our next stop is Old Library, one of the oldest and most controversial buildings on campus. This building was formerly known as Thomas Hall and was constructed in 1907 to fulfill M. Carey Thomas's dream of having a library in her name. M. Carey Thomas was the dean-elect in 1884, before the college doors opened. Then, from 1894 to 1922, she went on to become the second president of the college, where she would become one of the most influential figures. The most well-known legacy of M. Carey Thomas was her role as a feminist pioneer for women's education in the early 20th century. Despite being in a time where society believed women should mainly be caregivers in their households, M. Carey Thomas pushed for women to break out of these established roles to be doctors, scientists, educators, and more. In fact, some may argue that the notion of martyrs being intellectually curious in an academically rigorous place stems from Thomas's pedagogy in education.
However, this idea for women's education only benefited one group of women: white, non Jewish, Western European women. Her exclusionary attitudes were well documented by written and audio archives. These archives clearly illustrate her racist, eugenicist, and anti Semitic ideology that prevailed on campus. In the early 1900s, Bryn Mawr had a deal with the Philadelphia High School for Girls, where the valedictorian was accepted to the college with a scholarship. In 1901, the valedictorian was Jessie Fawcett, but Bryn Mawr did not know she was black until she arrived on campus. After finding out, Thomas gathered part of her own personal money combined with funds from her fellow peers to send Fawcett to Cornell University. After graduation, Fawcett would go on to be a central literary figure in the Harlem Renaissance in the 1930s. Unfortunately, Fawcett cannot be labeled as a notable alumna of Bryn Mawr. Instead, she fell victim to a racist institution under a president who did not want her solely on the basis of her skin color.
So, how do we remember M. Carey Thomas today? In 2018, we saw the name of the building change from Thomas Hall to Old Library, but students felt as if this was not enough. In 2023, the Board of Trustees unanimously approved plans to remove the inscribed name of Thomas to the main entrance of the building. Furthermore, in the 2024-2025 academic year, the community will see the installation of Nikisha Duret's campus monument, Don't Forget to Remember Me. This monument, through Bryn Mawr's Arch Project in partnership with Monument Lab, will explore the missing stories of black and brown figures from the college and will be placed in the cloisters, one of those prominent spaces of Bryn Mawr. These projects have been led by decades of student advocacy, and it is important to remember that these changes are meant to bring forth conversations about Bryn Mawr's dark past, not to erase it. In order to not repeat the same mistakes and truly make this an inclusive space for a diverse student body, we must acknowledge the turbulent past and bring to light the missing stories that are a part of this institution.
If you know anything about the architecture of Old Library, you know that the inspiration came from 19th century European architecture, and one of the main features of these buildings was the use of tunnels. In Old Library, these are the tunnels.
These are the tunnels.
These are the tunnels.
These are the tunnels. The tunnels under Bryn Mawr strip buildings allowed for the efficient transportation of food and other supplies to various parts of the building without allowing workers to be visible to the people who use them on the regular. The people who used the tunnels were black servants who were employed by the college. The servant tunnels are a physical example of the ways in which the college was designed to marginalize black bodies by putting them physically underground. They communicated an expectation that black men and women should work without being heard or seen, and that the college was meant to appear as self-sustaining, like magic. The tunnels were the epitome of the classist and racist attitudes that demanded white students be insulated from the unpleasant sight of black workers and their labor. To be a black worker was an offense to the earth itself, and tunnels are a reminder of the ways in which that message was literally encoded in Bryn Mawr's walls.
Did you know that if you use the accessible elevator from Old Library to get to Carpenter Library, you enter through the tunnels? Or when you walk out of Carpenter Library, you briefly enter the servant tunnels? Many people actually have no idea where the tunnels are under Old Library, or if they do, they have no idea what its history and significance is. We know this to be true because the tunnels over the years have been referred to as the Chamber of Secrets, a seemingly mysterious place under Old Library. Over the years, there have been issues with vandalism on the walls, where students have written their names, class years, jokes, and other political references. We see this today with students signing the pipes next to Carpenter, and we believe this to be an issue of ignorance and not understanding the historical purpose of the tunnels. This is why sharing the purpose of Black at Bryn Mawr is so important. We're one of the only programs to highlight this sacred space, and we want people to learn and tell their peers that this is not a place of celebration, but of remembrance. So the next time you're in this area, stop and think about what the servant tunnels were built for and what they signify today.
Welcome to Taylor Hall. This is the first academic building on campus. This building was constructed from 1879 to 1884 and was named after a man named Joseph Taylor, who passed down his estate to the college in 1880. At the time, Taylor housed all administration, a library, laboratories, classrooms, and even the college chapel, but today it only houses the president's offices and classrooms. When Taylor passed down his estate to Bryn Mawr, he directed in his will that his money be used to erect buildings for the, quote, comfort and advanced education and care of young women or girls of the higher classes of society. These women were to be of, quote, high morals and good attainment. But what did high morals even mean? Like M. Carey Thomas, he believed that this college would be for white, Western, European affluent women, a stark difference from the current diverse student body of today. Today, Taylor functions as the heart and soul of Bryn Mawr's campus. No matter where you go, you can see the bell tower. It's also the beginning of many traditions, from parade night to night market, from step sing even to graduation. It's also been the center of protests, from the 1972 demands to the 2020 strike and any other event of student advocacy. Bryn Mawr has redefined the original intention of the space to no longer only include Joseph Taylor's vision of the perfect student. One example of that is that once seniors submit all their work before graduation, they go ring the bell for the number of their class year. For instance, class of 2024 is going to ring the bell 24 times. This symbolizes that despite their background and any hardships that college brings to them, as a student, they made it through.
Established in 1891, Denby holds a special place in the college's legacy. Its architectural marvel, designed by famous architects John Stewardson and Walter Cope, serves as a backdrop to a timeline of the presence of Black students. But beyond its architectural charm, Denby's true essence is in the stories and experiences of the remarkable individuals who called it home. In 1948, history was made when Gloria Millicent White became the first Black residential student at Bryn Mawr. This momentous occasion marked the beginning of a more inclusive era, paving the way for other Black students to live on campus, like Evelyn Jones Rich, who followed in 1950. Evelyn Jones Rich, born in 1933 in Philadelphia, not only left a permanent mark on Denby, but also on the entire Bryn Mawr community. Her activism on campus, from being part of Students for Democratic Action to contributing to the Bryn Mawr League and Self-Government Association, showcased her commitment to fostering positive change. One notable event that stands out in Rich's impact on Bryn Mawr is the talk she led as an alum, titled Rediscovering Bryn Mawr, Past and Present from a Black Perspective. This enlightening discussion with Black students, alums, and faculty offered a unique insight to the evolving landscape of Bryn Mawr, emphasizing the importance of diverse perspectives in shaping the college's identity. Furthermore, Harris Wofford, the president at the time, attended this talk. In 1954, Evelyn Jones Rich graduated with a degree in political science, kickstarting her pursuit of education, leading to a master's degree from Hunter's College in social studies and a PhD from Columbia in African history and education, solidifying her impact in academia at large. So, as we reflect on Denby's history, let us celebrate the resilience, activism, and accomplishments of those who shaped its narrative.
Welcome to Marion, Bryn Mawr's oldest residential hall. This building holds a rich history that reflects both the progress and challenges faced by the institution surrounding race. Built as the original campus dormitory in 1885 to house 50 students, Marion holds a unique place in Bryn Mawr's narrative. Throughout campus, Black workers played and still play a significant role in curating an aesthetically appropriate environment in which white students could socialize and study despite not having access to it themselves. At the time, Bryn Mawr boasted a reputation for providing good job opportunities, attracting many African Americans who relocated from the South through the 20th century. However, this depiction did not question the fundamental power differences between Black workers and white students. The institution was relying heavily on cheap, exploitable Black labor to secure and maintain its high standing, all while overlooking the systemic racism that allowed its rise to prominence. As we explore Marion, let us reflect on the complex history and consider how it contributes to our understanding of Bryn Mawr's lasting connection to race, acknowledging both the institution's progress and the need for continued introspection into its past. Most notably, Marion was where Black women first resided on Bryn Mawr's campus while working as waitresses, cooks, chambersmaids, parlor maids, bell girls, and servants. Yet the living conditions for these Black workers were markedly different from those of white students, as they were situated on the fourth floor in crammed rooms, extremely hot and cold conditions. In 1922, a white student expressed her dismay at the maids' rooms, describing them as dingy and horrid, thus highlighting the stark contrast from the frequently photographed and publicized rooms of white students. This reflects a historical reality where the lives of Black workers were kept hidden away while catering to the deep curiosity and anxiety surrounding the lives of white women scholars.
Welcome to Park Science Building. This building was named in honor of President Marion Edwards Park, who served as president from 1922 to 1942. Park Science has a rich history, deeply intertwined with the pursuit of knowledge and societal progress. President Park's legacy is not only marked by academic leadership, but also by pivotal decisions that shaped the campus environment. In the early 1930s, Park grappled with the question of allowing students of color into the dormitories. A notable incident was captured in a letter from an alumna of the class of 1922. Expressing opposition, the alumna revealed the prevalent sentiments of the time regarding integration. However, Park did allow a Black student by the name of Lillian Russell to live with her and graduate with a Bryn Mawr degree in 1934. Although President Park accelerated positive change by allowing Lillian Russell to attend Bryn Mawr and providing her housing, her vehement opposition to allowing Black students to live on campus deliberately avoided progress. President Park's story emphasizes that racism can manifest covertly and overtly, and that there are many things that influence the manifestations of racism.
Welcome to Perry Garden, a space rich in history and significance at Bryn Mawr College. Perry House emerged in response to the 1972 sisterhood demands for a cultural center and dorm dedicated to the African American community. Perry House served as a cultural hub and a result of true activism and dedication from Black students who, through their efforts, earned this space of pride on campus.
During the tenure of the college's fifth president, Harris Wofford, Perry House came to life, accompanied by the hiring of the college's first Black professor, Robert Washington, in 1971. This shows the impact of sustained activist work from before the time of Evelyn Jones Rich in 1954 until the 1972 strike demands. While the house brought numerous benefits, including the RA magazine, a library, and a home for sisterhood, and eventually mujeres, it also became a legacy for Black students and other students of color. However, in 2012, controversy arose as the house was taken offline due to the college's failure to maintain repairs over the decades.
The deterioration of Perry House led to the collapse of the third floor roof, reducing its capacity from housing 14 people to only 7. Repeatedly, the college threatened to take the house offline unless the remaining rooms were filled, despite the poor conditions of the rooms. During one of these years in 2008, Mujeres offered to have some of their members fill in the empty spaces, which is why today the ECC reflects a community space for both Black and Latin identities. But in 2012, the school decided that Perry could no longer house students, citing health hazards, and took the building offline. Perry residents, unaware of the impending situation until the end of the summer, were left with no place to live for the year. They were relocated to the Princess Suites above the Pembroke Dance Studio, sparking tensions among other Bryn Mawr students who felt that these displaced students did not deserve the coveted rooms. In 2015, the school demolished Perry House, and this is what is left today.
Although Perry House may no longer stand, its legacy lives on in Perry Garden. This garden is a symbolic representation of the diverse backgrounds of students, with plants and flowers carefully chosen to reflect the house's values. Additionally, an art piece is currently being added to the cloisters, commemorating past African American workers at the college and highlighting the obstacles they face. The bricks will include soil from where Perry House once stood, serving as a poignant reminder of its history and hopefully raising awareness among students about the importance of the space.
Thank you for taking the Black at Bryn Mawr virtual tour.
We hope you learned something today, and if you're interested in learning more information, here's a QR code that you can scan that goes into more detail about what Emma and Grace found in their investigation of the college's history and institutional racism.
For those interested in further engagement, the second link is your gateway to booking tours for classes, events, mentorship programs, and more. We believe in the transformative power of these experiences, and by facilitating tours for various groups, we aim to foster an inclusive environment where diverse voices are heard and celebrated.
Once again, thank you for being a part of this journey. Your commitment to learning and understanding contributes significantly to the ongoing dialogue about Bryn Mawr's history, and we look forward to seeing a positive ripple effects of your engagement.